Take it away, Rodney.
All right, Mary, thank you. So our purpose, we are a for-profit company, but we're focusing on developing drinking water and sanitation solutions for primarily the developing world, low income settings, low to middle income settings. So the primary focus of our technology is chlorination. So chlorination is known, recognized by all leading health organizations. So let me just start with the slides. So chlorine is one of the greatest public health interventions in history. We started chlorinating water in the United States in 1908 in Benton, New Jersey. By 1940, we had eliminated typhoid and cholera in the United States. And it's not, we don't even think about cholera and typhoid in the United States. So chlorine is the solution. Any country that implements it eliminates these diseases. And chlorine is the biggest bang for the buck in terms of making water safe. It's not a filter, but you can eat the dirt, you just don't eat the bugs. So chlorinate and kill the bugs in the water, you can make water safe to drink, even dirty looking river water. Mm-hmm. It is a standard for treating drinking water around the world. The CDC, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, everybody recognizes chlorination is the one that is most effective, and the other key advantage is that it keeps the water safe in storage. It maintains a chlorine residual. You don't get that with filters, you don't get it with UV, you don't get it with ozone, with chlorine. So chlorine is the answer, and it's extremely cheap to make. So it's the most widely used and effective product for sanitation and disinfection. So 1.8 billion people don't have access to safe drinking water. Patients and healthcare providers in low income countries have very high rates of infections. The same countries lack access to affordable, reliable chlorine products. It's been very scarce because of COVID, particularly in remote healthcare areas in remote parts of Africa. The hospitals in major cities can get it, but then the supply chains are weak. And the stuff gets old as it gets transported out to these areas. So anyway, it's a big problem. So Aqua Research is a for-profit company, and our purpose is to strengthen the use of chlorine in LMIC, low to middle income countries, in an affordable, reliable, and easy way to do that. So we focus on designing our equipment for abuse rather than use. So we know it's going to be mishandled. We know it's going to be used by people that are not, they're not stupid people, they're just not educated. And so we got to make it, the technology usable by those people, make it as simple as possible. So our products are now being used in over 20 countries worldwide. Our little handheld units have been used all over the world. So in disasters and other type of things. And we're doing a lot of work right now with some of the large NGOs to demonstrate and debug these things in the field for those particular applications. So we had pretty large growth last year, 2020. We're getting set up for pretty strong growth going forward. So the competitive advantages of chlorine is it's simple and easy to use. Our systems are rugged, and it provides independence from liquid and solid bleach commodities. They come in various sizes. We're putting GPS and Wi-Fi internet communications capability in all of our systems, except the smallest little handheld unit. So anybody that gets near one of our units with a cell phone or Wi-Fi connection can access all the data in the system and download it to a central database. And we're doing that with two organizations now, PATH out of Seattle. PATH is a $350 million a year non-government organization. does a lot of health stuff worldwide. And then we're doing a lot of work with Catholic Relief Services in Africa, where they're collecting data. Instead of having people manually collect the data, these systems support automatic download to a master database so they can see where things are being used and how they're used and the volumes of use and operational characteristics of our systems too. So, and we have solar power options on these things. They can operate on 110 or 220 or solar, just about any power source. And they're designed to ride through power outages or power upsets. They may shut down, but they'll pick back up where they were and continue operating. So this is some of our products. The little handheld unit, we originally developed that with a government contract with DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency for the military. So it's got some pretty interesting chemistry characteristics. It's about the most powerful disinfectant, chlorine-based disinfectant. We optimize the design for the military, and we apply that in all of our systems. But it's a little handheld device you can put in your pocket, and got a solar panel and a rechargeable battery. You can recharge it 500 times, so 300 liters on a charge, that's 150,000 liters over its lifetime. That's basically 10 gallons a day of water for 10 years for a family. And it only costs some salt. Now, you have to buy the product. We have it retail on our website for $100, but we sell it to non-government organizations for about half that because we don't have the retail distribution markups. The next system is the stream system, and it'll do 230,000 gallons of water treated per day at a 2.5 milligram per liter dose. That's typical for drinking water. All you need is salt and a power source of some kind, and this will download communications capability. Then the next system over is what we call our AR3, that's 3 or 5 kilograms per day of chlorine. That's 1.2 to 2 million liters of water a day treated at, again, a 2.5 milligram per liter dose of chlorine. And then the KSeries system on the right, which is a big stainless industrial unit. We put those in, for instance, we got a number of them in Haiti operating healthcare facilities to generate a lot of chlorine to put in 1 gallon jugs so they can then distribute them out to all 168 healthcare facilities in Haiti. So those systems are good for a lot of different applications, from industrial applications, drinking water, healthcare facilities, cooling towers, aquatics, swimming pools, just a number of things. Anywhere where chlorine is used. So liquid chlorine is made from salt water and electricity. It's been made that way for 150 years. And this stuff kills just about any kind of virus, bacteria, kills protozoa. And World Health Organization, CDC, recommend a 0.5% concentration for highly contaminated healthcare applications like Ebola or COVID-19. 0.5% is 5,000 milligrams per liter concentration. And so that's what the stream system, for instance, most all of our systems are designed to make that concentration solution. So it's effective at killing stuff. So we have a patented flow-through technology that continuously produces 5,000, and even if they mix the salt wrong, it'll continue making 5,000 just to make 5,000, irrespective of whether they fix the brine right. So anyway, again, we talked about this one. Basically, what's in the blue box down there is what's important. And you get it in the hands of a family, and they've got 10 years of safe water for 50 cents a year in salt. And nobody is calculating, they're not worried about salt costs. Everybody's got salt. So there's nothing to replace. You can drive over one of these with a car. We've been out through all the military testing, freeze, thaw, shock, vibration. They're pretty durable little systems. This system is a stream system I talked about. And, it's here it's being used in a hospital in Burkina Faso, Africa, with Catholic Relief Services. And so we've got those in a number of locations, different countries in Africa, where they're being field trialed, so to speak, and gathering data to determine use cases and so forth. Got them in Haiti and lots of places. And so this is one of the KSeries systems we've got in Haiti. And this site, I believe, is Cap Haitian.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
My phone is answering me. Excuse me about the interruption. Okay. So it's a fully operational, fully automated system. We can monitor and change all the parameters. You know, anything we want to do, we can do if it's got internet connection, and this one does. We can monitor it from anywhere anybody has internet access worldwide. So it see what it's doing, where it's doing it, where it's at, how much it's producing. You know, if there's any issues with the operations, it tells it. So it's they're fully automated. We've got few other things we're working on. One is Survivor. It's a 5-gallon jerry can, basically with an ultra filter. And that ultra filter, you can put any surface water source in this thing, pump this thing up about 5 psi. And there's a valve on the other end. You open it, you automatically are getting EPA quality drinking water. So it removes virus, bacteria, protozoa, dirt, everything. It's instant, but there is no chlorine residue. But you combine that with one of those little handheld units, and you've got EPA quality drinking water almost instantly. We're also working with PATH and some others on this rooftop system in the middle. There's tanks everywhere. There's millions of rooftop storage tanks. There's millions of rainwater collection tanks. And we're developing this technology to put it on those tanks. So it automatically doses chlorine as water enters those tanks. And so and then we have a little tabletop carafe, which is handy. So we're working on all these technologies. So our business model is cost-effective, reliable, and easy-to-use technology. Continuous flow technology that always produces the right concentration. And our target customers are healthcare facilities, water utilities, non-government organizations, low to middle income countries. But, you know, the technology is appropriate in the United States industrially as well, and other developed countries. So we work with a lot of NGOs. We utilize in-country distributors. We'll participate with manufacturing in-country. We haven't done that yet. But as long as we've got a supply chain and partners in-country that we can work with, we don't have a problem doing it. And there's a lot of advantages. And that is reducing import costs, transportation costs, creating local jobs, things like that. And we're probably doing that in Haiti more than anywhere else right now. We've got an organization down there that supports, installs our equipment and keeps it going, and sells our technology down there. So it works pretty well. So we're doing a lot of work with NGOs, as we'd indicated. PATH is Gates funded, among others. International operation. They've got offices in a lot of countries in Africa, and we're working with them in countries in Ghana, Mozambique, and Uganda right now. A lot of healthcare facilities, gathering a lot of data, evaluating acceptability, things like that. Aqua Institute is another one we're working with to evaluate it against calcium hypochlorite tablets and bleach and some piped water application. SWAP Kenya is pretty well known, in Kenya anyway, an organization that does a lot of work with ministries of health. USAID operation is KSeries Foundation in Haiti, and that's where we're working with them to get this technology deployed in 164 healthcare facilities all over the country. In Catholic Relief Services, we're working with a number of countries. So these systems that we've got right now are really the evaluation systems And if they work out like we expect they will, the opportunity for deployment of this technology in a lot of different places is pretty big. So that we're hopeful that that the technology does get adopted. We're aggressively supporting this stuff in the field. We know that if we don't support it, we're not going to be, they're not going to trust it. So we definitely, aggressively support this stuff. Any problems with systems, we design solutions for them. So we're debugging them as we go along. But the upside potential for deployment of this technology is huge. So World Vision is another one. They've got 40,000 employees worldwide. They're evaluating our technology in Rwanda and some other places. So we're working with some big organizations. This is our income statement projections. We had a pretty good, you can look at the 2019-2020 revenue numbers. So we had a 4x increase in revenue last year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Expecting further growth as into the future as this technology gets deployed. So we've been doing a lot of technology development since we started, and now we're going toward much more aggressive sales and marketing and working with the big partners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a technologist. I've developed these technologies. I'm an expert in this technology, been doing it for 25 years. I've just retired a guy named Chris Dunstan, who spent years in Africa working on water solutions. He worked for Hilton Foundation for 6 years, working in a number of countries in Africa, doing water type projects. He's coming on as a CEO in August. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit here, go from technology to marketing and sales in a big way. So this is our leadership team. And I'm the guy that's developed this stuff. I was one of the founders of a company called Myox, which was an electrolytics company.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another company besides this one called Aqua Membranes. And it's a new way to make spiral wound membranes for under-counter systems up to full up seawater desalination plants. Hired a CEO for that 3 years ago. And he's doing a fantastic job getting that off the ground. We're working with major companies like Henkel Corporation out of Germany, which is the people that do Loctite and adhesives of all kinds. And we're working with all the major membrane companies on that technology, but that's not the subject of this technology. This is Aqua Research, which is primarily disinfection.
Mm-hmm.
And is one of our board members, an advisor. He was former president of Operation Blessing International, and they had operations in 39 countries worldwide. That is part of Operation Blessing International is out of Virginia Beach, and it was started by Pat Robertson, the 700 Club.
Sure.
And so Bill Horan ran Operation Blessing for 16 years and took it from about a 30 million operation to a 350 million operation in his 16 years. And he was very dynamic in terms of responding to disasters anywhere in the world. He's deployed a lot of our technology. Anyway, he retired from Operation Blessing. We brought him on board. He's a strong proponent. Then Dunstan up in the upper right, he started out with Peace Corps and then CARE and then CDC and then Hilton Foundation. So he's got a strong background and connections all up and down the NGO network. Lois Warren is our Chief Operating Officer, and she's been with us about 10 years now and does a fantastic job keeping all this stuff moving. And Craig Beckman was a former CEO of Myox Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Came on to Myox after I left Myox in 2010, but he did a great job there. And it's all electrolytics, so he knows that business. But he came on as the membrane CEO at Aqua Membranes, and so he worked at GE Water for 20 years on membrane technology, but has done a lot of work last 5 years in Myox. So he's on our board as well. So we got a pretty good team, I think. So we're doing a 2 million funding round. right
Wow.
now. So we need to get this thing moving. And so we're got to get, accelerate our sales and, get these new technologies that seem pretty attractive. A lot of people are interested in this rainwater collection system and water tank disinfection system. So,
Mhm.
it's, into the future, it's working, just trying to deploy the technology, work with a lot of these NGOs and bring some of these new technologies that are interesting to people and get them on board. So anyway, that's the story.
Wow. Great story, Rodney. I have a few questions came to mind. We have a vision to solve the global water crisis in this generation because technologies like yours exist. We're seeing it solved in, many places around the globe. And, whether it's an issue of transport or treatment, we believe the technology exists. It's more of a leadership issue and marketing issue. But do you agree with that, assuming we have a means to connect and communicate with people and engage people everywhere?
To solve the problem in the next few years, is that?
In
Yes,
generation, 20 years.
I think, yes. The Lowincome goals are pretty aggressive, we've already missed targets on that.
Yeah.
But I think it will take a generation, 20 years. And the world is exploding in terms of technology, in terms of deployment worldwide. And new technologies, like you say, are coming along to the communications that we're doing with all the new internet connectivity and the new satellites being launched to make the world a very small place. I think one of the big problems, and this is my opinion, is in these developing countries is politics. And it's just, I think that communications is going to force change.
Yeah.
In terms of politics. And as people become liberated, so to speak, and this technology can get deployed on a much more massive scale, I think we can solve the problem. It's like anything, technology is accelerating rapidly. It's amazing what's happened since I've been in college. Even I look back at my grandmother who was born in 1896 and what she saw, everything from cars to man on the moon.
Right.
And so we're accelerating even faster than that today.
Yeah.
I think that as technology gets implemented in communications, you can't keep people down with communications opening up.
Right.
And I think that they're going to demand more freedoms. They're going to see I'm an American. I like our democratic, system where we've got rule of law and we've got freedoms of speech, religion, and all the rest.
Yep.
So I think people are going to want that worldwide, and I think it's going to open up things with a lot of change coming. There's no question. But I think this is such a crying need in terms of water to save lives. 9,000 people a day are dying from waterborne disease. Half of them are kids under the age of 5.
Right. Intolerable, really. Mm-hmm.
Yemen has got one of the largest cholera outbreaks in the world in history going on right now.
Mm-hmm. This
kind of technology can eliminate that,
Yeah.
And so chlorination has got to happen. It's such a, it's so simple and it just has to be deployed, So I think we're trying to develop a technology that will be attractive in those settings and trying to price it, as affordably as we can. But we're, like I say, we're still a for-profit company. We're funded by investors.
Well, it's a great opportunity for people. So
I think so.
Yeah.
It creates opportunity locally for companies in those countries, local.
Yeah.
as well as just opportunity in general. So.
Right. Your willingness to have in-country creation as well as distribution is a really wonderful gift for people who are looking for new business models that they could deploy out. And your partnerships are sound. I have three other quick questions. Just IoT and security. The fact that you're Wi-Fi enabled, some people believe these IoT devices that are connected could create issues. Do you have any protection, or could people shut that off?
Can people terminate what we're doing?
The Wi-Fi connection, if there are concerns about hackers or someone getting in and modifying.
We haven't encountered that yet. Now, it could be the case, but what do they want the information for? You know, or why would they? I guess they do it for political reasons or something, but this is health of human beings worldwide. And, you know, these are all individual units that, you know, we'll put the security in place as time goes on.
Yeah.
But now we're beginning to implement fundamental stuff. Things are password protected, you know, those types of stuff.
Okay.
So people have to get in and they have to have access. It's just not open architecture.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Next question is on, this eliminates the bugs, the chlorine, but it looked like your survivor might eliminate metals or filter out particles. What's the, if you have—
Survivor is the only non-chlorine system we have. And Operation Blessing International was very interested in developing that. And so they funded us to develop that technology. And, you know, we've tested it with EPA labs to validate that it does remove virus, bacteria, and protozoa to the EPA requirements, the World Health Organization requirements. It does remove, it's an ultra filter. Okay. So most of the handheld type filters, life straw, you know, things like that are microfilters. Mm-hmm. To be able to suck through those type things for them to work. With an ultrafilter, it's an even tighter membrane and you can't suck through it, but you can pressure it up and pump water through it. And so because it's a tighter membrane, it removes everything. Now, it doesn't desalinate, okay? And it doesn't remove divalent ions like calcium scale, you know, things like that. Mm-hmm. It does remove most contaminants. Now, it's not going to take out some organics, you know, that could be pesticides or herbicides or things like that. It's not a cure-all for everything. You can oxidize, if you put some of the little disinfectant in the container and there's arsenic in the water, it'll oxidize it from arsenic 3 state to 5, mm-hmm. which is filtered. You know, so you can do things with that device to take out some of the contaminants, but it's not an absolute cure-all for everything.
Yeah.
But it, for people, you know, for 99.99% of the people in the developing world, it works.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we have in our community, the Global Waterworks community that you've joined, and Donna and the Peace Engineers are now part of, we have requests, and we have a very active group in the sub-Saharan Africa area, Great Lakes of Africa, where there is still drought and issues of transporting from Lake Victoria or these resources. But if they had the pictures of the muddy pond where people are reaching in to get water, you said that they could use the system to get rid of the bugs that are causing the dysentery. And
it'll take the dirt, it'll take the bugs, it'll take everything of the water. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to get one for a village. We'll have to talk about that pricing. And
okay, so we have some demo units we can arrange to get you one or two. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you've just now outlined sort of the journey to water quality. If we have people coming in and they have water quality problems anywhere on the globe, they could potentially use any one of these solutions to serve up drinking water, as you said, EPA level. So
correct. Uh-huh.
Awesome, Rodney. We just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and I'll show you in the Global Waterworks community what that looks like. But I'll stop the recording now and just thank you, and hope that we can be part of getting your funders and making this more available everywhere.
Well, I'm still Of course, I was just introduced to you, so I'm trying to understand what your community looks like and how it works, and so
Yeah.
I'm anxious to try to get involved with you and see what we can do here. So
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick intro since we're on so that everyone can see and they can meet Rodney in the community. Here he is. Look at that great profile set up in no time at all. You just joined, and I'm amazed you shared the connections. You're signed up for our event tomorrow night, and we have Thursday gatherings very regularly, but anyone can create a profile in the community and be part of what makes global water work. And if you join us tomorrow, you'll also hear from Lena Timberg, who's working in the Parliament, Youth Parliament for Water around the globe. But the community is an open collaboration space. It's actually on the Mighty Networks platform, and it allows for you to travel around the globe and to see who's ever near you, wherever you are around the globe, and to join different water groups. We have an atmospheric water group that's advancing that technology. We have SWAN's digital twin group is advancing digital models for utilities. We feature every week who's new this week and a few different highlights from the community. And here I mentioned Lena Timberg. We had Memorial Day. We have a group that's teaching the impact of leadership in water projects, because if you don't have good leaders in the community, these projects fail quite often. But you've made it very easy, so hopefully not. And we have different events. We have a global calendar of activities you can access, and it's all free for anyone. Some of the events you may need to pay for, but we welcome people to add their events to the calendar and to explore workforce opportunities. It's a huge area of growth in the water sector. Every week we poll the community for polls and discussion points. This one was on if we need to address the water education infrastructure problem, and it's really about engagement of people. What do we do to drive that change? But the goal is that if we come together and break down the silos, everyone can see and participate in the learning and the great insights that people like you share. And I will be putting your video, if you're okay with it, up into the community so that people can access it. And they may not have the time with you as I've had, but they can, through this video, meet you and explore a number of different topics, and also see the technologies. We'll add you to the technology showcase, Rodney, so that that you get that exposure. And here there are more than 100 technologies. We're looking for turnkey solutions like yours, that are backed up with a strong support. And these are not innovators, but they are proven. So they are innovators because they've been successful, but they have to have case studies and be available today to be used anywhere in the world. And Vivo Blue is a technology they have a filtration system, but they would be a complement, I think, to what you're doing, and may also benefit from the same. They have a number of distribution partnerships. They formed out of India, and I love the way you formed out of DARPA, like you said, and out of this other initiative where people on site, the Hope International, Blessing International.
Yeah, Operation Blessing.
Yeah, so this group was formed and is supported by the guy who ran Opportunity International. So it's just an open, rich community. We've been working on it for 3 years. When you go in, you'll see the opportunity to answer questions or engage in discussions, and you'll also see an opportunity to change your settings so that you have as nice a profile as Rodney does.
Okay.
They're looking. So it's a very simple solution to use, and I'll just stop sharing there, but it's all available at globalwaterworks.org here, if anyone wants to go. So thanks. Let me just stop this and